Hi and welcome to my Facebook live talk. If you're watching on YouTube, that's where I started, so bear with me. Welcome to Messages from the Masculine. This is number 27, Feminine Mysticism and Magnetism. I'm actually merging two ideas here to make a little combination talk for you ladies to watch and for you men to understand as well, because this affects both of us. I am a love relationship expert, particularly working with women. Oops, I didn't do that. Okay, I'll have to do that later. What was I trying to say? Raining gear. Yes, so this is a talk that basically is about helping women own their magnificence and feminine gifts in the world, and for men to be of support to that. That's kind of my secret message. But in this talk, I want to speak to women, particularly about this combination of mysticism and magnetism. And I'm using mysticism intentionally. I did a talk two or three different Facebook Lives ago, I think it's about 10 days ago, called Feminine Divinity and Shamanism, which I highly recommend you watch. That's had 1,300 views so far, which is pretty impressive. It's one of the best ones I've done so far. This talk is adjunct to that. And so if you're watching this, please, thank you for watching, by the way. Please feel free to share this out and post it into other walls as well, because it may affect other women as well as yourself. So, what do I mean by mysticism and magnetism in the feminine perspective? So, I mentioned in the previous one, and I'll do it here as well, I have a firm belief that women have been, and it's the feminine and women are put together. So let me pre-qualify. I'm realizing I'm jumping to talk without giving you framework. I'm using the language of women and feminine together, and also male, men and masculine together, even though masculine energy and feminine energy is not gender specific. It is generally gender parallel though. So men tend to go towards the masculine, either undeveloped or developed, and I can get into that another time. And women tend to go into the feminine polarity, which can be undeveloped or developed as well. So speaking to the developed feminine, which is generally women in this conversation, so now you know the framework I'm playing in. Over the millennia, over the last 200, well, actually over the last millennium, not centuries, but thousands of years, I have looked back at history and seen how women have been contained, and that's being polite, imprisoned, destroyed, and subjugated on so many different levels because of their power. And I talked about this in the other video about how women have been denied their place in history when it comes to the goddess movement, when it comes to the expression of the feminine gifts in magic, which is what burned at the stake or dunked in ponds, if you follow Monty Python. But the recognition that women weren't allowed to express their mystical and magical gifts and be respected for it. They were sought out. You know, a lot of the witch doctors, or should I say the shamans, which is the real better word for them, in a lot of old native tribes were women just as much as they were men. It wasn't men only by any means. But the portrayal in modern history and in recent history has been that men did it because it was men running everything. And to be really blunt, and I do speak from where it's coming from inside versus like a prescriptive message, there's been a definite sense that history was written by the men that controlled religion and controlled the secular world as well. So women got shut out of it. So the thing about feminine mysticism for me is talking about how women can regain the gifts that they were denied, that you ladies have it innately within you. The tip of the iceberg is intuition. It's a feminine gift that we'll talk about. But it's an inkling, just an inkling of the power that women have in their feminine gifts. And I am on maybe the front line, maybe on the cliff saying, ladies, we need you in all your magnificence, because we do. So let me switch gears for a second into the second part of this, which is the magnetism, because I want to speak to that part, particularly because I work in the area of relationship primarily, but I believe it affects women in all areas of life. In modern society, now I'm going to speak about most of my general clientele, so you get the perspective, and also my ex-relationships, myself and friends. So this is covering a lot of women. But a lot of women in the business world who've been out succeeding and making a difference have been very dynamic and very driven to emulate the mindset and the behavior of the men to go get it, to make it happen, to be goal achievers and get things done. I strongly believe that the true power, this true strength of women is in her ability to attract that which you are seeking versus hunt it, set down and attack it. Because hunting is the masculine mindset. which is why so many women who I work with as clients have had issues in their relationships, because they hunted down the men who basically were getting their balls cut off by them. I went through that myself, so I know what it feels like. It's not fun. When you ladies are in your power of magnetism, that's where, in the romantic conversation, courtship can happen. Because the man can now hunt you in his natural ability as being the man, and you can be able to lead him in with breadcrumbs, so to speak. In olden days, in previous times, courtship was started out a lot of times where the man would ask a woman out and she would drop a handkerchief to indicate she was interested in him. He would pick it up and it would start from there. But the reality is, in modern days, that doesn't happen. With Tinder and Plenty of Fish and all those other apps, it's a level playing field. And that's not a good thing. To have that many women and men playing the same game to meet each other, there's a definite gap in there. It's an out of alignment. The polarity is messed up. So, ladies who are watching this, I want to plant the seed with you that your ability to become a magnet to attract what you want is where your power is. When you're not hunting like the men in the dating apps or in the world, you're missing the mark. You're missing the opportunity to be feminine, and you're actually taking the power away from the men. And most men will say, oh, it's no problem, she can ask me out. I went through that. I got asked out by a woman. We had a great relationship for 6 months. And I ruined it because I didn't bother stepping back into my role, because I got lazy, which we men tend to do. Sorry guys, I'm outing you now for this. But you ladies have this ability to be magnetic. And it's a subtler skill, so to speak. Because we as the hunters are very dynamic, very demonstrative, very visible. Your ability to magnetize on the subtler levels where you can actually pull in what you want and who you want more powerfully without actually showing any visible overt signs. I think you may get where I'm going with this. So in my work with the clients, what I really help my female clients do is learn how to create the vision and the magnetic polarity to attract what they want in a relationship, because that's where your natural gifts lie. Expanding that to the world in large, you ladies out there can attract to yourselves those jobs, relationships, abundance, things in life you want through the magnetic pull that you then step into. Now, it's not mean you sit at home and you go, okay, I'm going to channel my mind and just sit there and let it happen. No. This is kind of the law of attraction piece, and I actually believe that the law of attraction is a feminine skill, because the ability to attract what you want is a magnetic pull, which is what the feminine's good at, more than the masculine is. You still have to go out and take action. You've got to put yourself in a place of visibility to be seen by that which you want to attract. But it always starts with where you attract from. If you just go out hunting, you're going to be doing what the men are doing. And to be honest, we men, when we go hunting, it's kind of like we're going eeny, meeny, miny, mo. We're not actually targeting towards anything specific. You ladies, I know, are very particular. But when you're hunting, it makes it harder to do. So when you stay in your unit feminine and you become a magnetic attractor to that which you want, it's kind of like you thin out the herd, as it were. You become very so focused and specific, and basically instead of just getting this wide scattershot approach, you become very targeted, very centered, and very clear about what it is you want and then how to attract it. So I'm starting to circle my statements there, so I think I might be summarizing very briefly. These talks usually are about 10 minutes. Seems to be what my message is, and I go on to the next one. And I'll be doing these fairly frequently, it looks like. So to back up a second and recap slightly, I believe that the feminine gift of magnetism is very much tied to what's known as mysticism, I believe, in the feminine realm. Shamanism, mysticism, divinity, however you want to call that. I covered that part in a previous talk, number 24, I think it was. But in this point, I want to talk about how the power of magnetism that you women have naturally, innately in you, that we men could learn from, is tied to your mystical beingness. And I believe it's time that you ladies remember your ancestry, remember your depth, remember your connection to that greater place inside of you that you've been probably told so many times over the years by the world at large doesn't count. It does count. Your gifts, your abilities to change the world start from within. When you stand up and protest like the men do, you do things like the men do, you're copying the men. And based on results, it's not effective. I believe, as I've heard from many talks and many people who taught me, the power of the feminine dwarfs the power of the masculine. And I'm saying from a male point of view, that's a good thing. So I'm imploring and inviting you to look inside, ladies, to find a place inside of you that is where you have this power of the magnet, like the power of the sun to pull into itself things that it wants. That's a gift you have. And it's something I'm talking about more in my work. It's what I do with my clients. I have a program I created called Track the Man You Want. I wonder why it's called that. Because that's your gift, that's your power. So that really is the summary I want to talk about. That's really the distillation of what I was going to share. And I'm keeping this short. I'm just checking the time. Yeah, it's just about 10 minutes. I want to keep this talk separate and keep these complete. And I'm going to be interrupted by a cat in a moment who's meowing at me. So, hear it? He was avoiding me till now, but now he wants to come in and talk and play. All right, so I'm going to summarize now. Ladies, your power of magnetism is far beyond what you believe, you've been told. Probably even more than you believe. It's time you unplugged the shielding from it and start attracting what you really want. When it comes to love, that's my area of expertise, but in the world in general, you have the gift, you have the power, you have the right to draw to you that which you love. So get out there and do that. All right. My name is Barry Selby. I'm summarizing here to say that I invite you to check out my other Facebook Lives. Please share this out with people you know who might value this. And if you like this, please comment. Please post below. I will be sharing this out on YouTube as well. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with another talk around messages from the masculine. This is Barry Selby signing off. Bye.